tertiary structures of proteins or even cause them to denature slightly. This would result in the increased level of Dalton-32, and the genes encoding the heat shock proteins would be transcribed. However, since the amount of DNA increases as part of the heat shock response, it eventually builds up and Dalton to the power 32 degraded again, bringing the cell back to its normal state. Quorum sensing. Global control systems allow an organism to respond effectively to signals in its environment. One interesting signal is the presence of other control organisms of the same species. It has been discovered that certain bacteria have regulatory pathways that are controlled in response to the density of cells within their own population. This type of control is called quorum sensing. Each gram-negative bacterium that has this type of regulation has an enzyme that synthesizes a specific acetylated homoserine lactone. This molecule is diffusible to the outside of the cell, therefore it can only reach high concentrations in the cell. If there are a number of cells nearby, each making the same AHL, these AHL molecules are the inducer that combines with an activator protein. Quorum sensing was the first discovered as the form of regulation of bioluminescence in a number of bacteria. Shows colonies of the bacterium virofischeri, which are glowing because of the production of bacteria luciferase. The Lux operans, which encode the proteins involved in bioluminescence, are under control of the activator protein, Lux R, and are induced when the concentration of N3-oxohexoenol homoserine lactone becomes high enough. This AHL is synthesized by the protein encoded by the Luxol gene. Other genes are also controlled by this system. In some bacteria, for instance, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it is clear that quorum sensing is a global response leading to the expression of a large number of different genes when the population density becomes sufficiently high. This assists in the formation of biofilms of aeruginosa, an important aspect of the pathogenesis. Pathogenesis of Staphylococcus aureus involves the production and secretion of numerous cell surface and extracellular proteins that damage the host cells or tissues or that interfere with the immune system. The genes encoding these virulence factors are under the control of the quorum system that responds to peptide product by the organism itself. The regulation of these genes is quite complex and in part involves regulatory RNA molecule. Although we have discussed only regulatory proteins in this chapter, regulatory RNA molecules also exist. Antisense nucleic acids, the S-Aureus quorum sensing system also involves regulatory proteins that are part of the two-component signal transducing regulatory system. We discuss this type of regulation in this section. Next section. 8.9 Concept checked. Cells have many different global control systems that allow the cell to regulate the expression of many genes in response to changes in the environment. These changes can include nutritional factors, temperatures, and even the number of bacteria present. Some of these regulatory systems involve alternative sigma factors. 8.10 Signal transduction and two-component regulatory systems. Bacteria regulate cell metabolism in response to a wide variety of environmental fluctuations, including temperature changes, changes in pH and oxygen availability, changes in the availability of nutrients, and even changes in the number of cells present. Therefore, there must be mechanisms by which bacteria receive signals from the environment and transmit them to a specific target to be regulated. We have seen in preceding sections that sub-signals can be small molecules that enter the cell, often by specific uptake mechanisms, and act as effectors, for instance in the case of maltose regulation. the sugar maltose binding to the maltose activator protein, causing the protein to bind to specific DNA sequences and activate transcription. However, in many cases, the external signal is transmitted directly to the regulatory protein. Instead, a signal is first detected by a sensor and then transmitted in a changed form to the rest of the regulatory machinery, a process called sigma transduction. Sensor kinase and response regulators. Many of the regulatory systems by which cells sense and then respond to environmental signals are called two-component systems. Characteristically, such systems include two different proteins, a specific sensor protein located in the cell membrane, and a partner response regulator protein. The sensor protein and has kinase activity and is usually referred to as a sensor kinase. A kinase is an enzyme that phosphorylates compounds. Sensor kinase detects a signal from the environment on their outer surface and in response phosphorylates it. Autophosphorylation of the specific histidine residue on their cytoplasmic surface. This phosphor group is then transmitted to another protein inside the cell. The response regulator is typically a DNA-binding protein that regulates transcription. In Figure 8.23, the phosphorylated response regulator is acting as a repressor protein, while the unphosphorylated response regulator does not bind the DNA. Often, however, the phosphorylated response regulator acts as an activator protein. The mechanism used by the response regulator to control transcription depends on the system being described. In order to complete a regulatory circuit, there must be a way to terminate the signal. Typically, this involves a phosphatase, an enzyme that can remove the phosphoryl group from the response regulator protein. In some cases, this reaction is carried out by the sensor kinase itself, while in other systems there is a third protein that carries out this reaction. Therefore, there are two-component systems with three components. Actually, some systems have even more components, as the signal may be processed through several steps. However, in all cases, two-component systems have a sensor kinase and response regulator. Examples of two-component regulatory systems. Two-component systems are now known to regulate a large number of genes in many different bacteria. A few key examples include phosphate assimilation in Escherichia coli, nitrogen fixation in Klebsiella and Rhizobium, and sporulation in Bacillus, which has a very complex regulatory system. In E. coli alone, it is estimated that almost 50 different two-component systems operate, and a few of these are listed. Many of these systems involve global regulation. In E. coli, an osmolarity of the environment controls which of two proteins, OMP-C or OMP-F, is synthesized as part of the outer membrane. The response regulator of this system is OMPR. When OMPR are phosphorylated, it acts as an activator of transcription of the OMP-C gene and repressor of transcription of the OMP-F gene. In some cases, more regulatory elements are involved. As an example of the NTR system, which regulates nitrogen assimilation, the response regulator is an activator protein, NR sub I, nitrogen regulator I, which works by allowing transcription from promoters recognized by RNA polymerase, using Dalton to the power 54 alternative sigma factor, where the sensor kinase NR subscript 2, nitrogen regulator 2, fills a dual role both as a protein kinase and the phosphatase. Its activity is in turn regulated by the state of phosphorylation of another protein. Some systems, quite complex, the NR regulatory system involves two different sensor proteins and two different response regulators. And in addition, all these genes regulated by this system are also under control of the anaerobically active transcriptional regulatory protein, FNR. Two component systems closely related to those and bacteria are also present in the microbial eukaryotes, such as the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae. High eukaryotes also use phosphorylation as a membrane of signal transduction in order to respond to environmental changes. Regulation of chemotaxis. Not all response regulators regulate transcription, and we have previously discussed the fact that bacteria can move toward or away from particular chemicals, a process called chemotaxis. We noted that bacteria are small to actually sense spatial gradients of a chemical, but rather they respond to temporal gradients. That is, they sense the change in concentration of chemical outside the cell over time. Bacteria use two-component systems to sense the temporal changes in chemical concentration and regulate flagellar motion. Mechanism of chemotaxis response to signal. Mechanism of chemotax response to signal. The mechanism of chemotaxis is quite complex and involves a variety of different proteins. A number of sensory proteins are in the cell membrane, and these sense the presence of attractants and repellents. These proteins also allow the cell to sense whether, over time, the concentration of the substance increases or decreases as the cell moves. The cell thus responds to the change in concentration rather than the absolute concentration of the chemical stimulus. The sensory protein are called methyl-accepting chemotax protein, or receptor transducer proteins, or simply transducers. In Escherichia coli, 5 different MCPs have been identified in each transmembrane protein. Each MCP can sense a variety of compounds. For example, the TAR transducer of E. coli can sense the attractants aspartate and maltose, as well as repellents such as the heavy metals cobalt and nickel. MCP binds attractants or repellents directly, or in some cases indirectly, through the interaction with periplasmic binding proteins. Binding of an attractant or repellent sets in play a series of interactions with cytoplasmic proteins that eventually affects flagellar rotation. If rotation of the flagellum is counterclockwise, the cell will continue to move in a run. If the flagellum rotates clockwise, however, the cell will tumble. The current model for flagellar control shows that the transducers are in contact with a cytoplasmic protein, ChW and CA. CA is a sensor kinase. When a transducer has a bound chemical, it changes conformation, and ChW causes a change in the autophosphorylation by CA. Attractants decrease the rate of autophosphorylation, whereas the repellents increase this rate. Phosphorylated CA and CA then phosphorylates CY, forming CYP, a response regulator. CAP can also phosphorylate CB, another response regulator, but this is a much slower reaction than the phosphorylation of CY. We will discuss the activity of CB-P later. CY is an essential protein in the system because it serves as a response regulator for chemotaxis, governing the direction of rotation and of the flagellum. CY-P interacts with the flagellar motor to induce clockwise flagellar rotation and tumbling. The motor switch itself consists of proteins